Welcome to Where They Wander. We are Kat and Kev, and we travel full-time in our Grand Design Imagine travel trailer with our pups Lily and Bailey.
Before we dive into our next adventure, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our next videos. Did you know you can also support us on the Coffee app by clicking the link above for as little as $1? We left you last week after taking a hike in the White Mountains of New Hampshire up to Cascade Falls. This week we leave New Hampshire and head to upstate New York, but not without some difficulty. Beautiful place. We've had the place pretty much to ourselves the entire time, but my goodness, mosquitoes. Now we find ourselves in a predicament. This is the narrow lane that we have to try and come out of. Trying to get her out and inching forward and backwards, we have come precariously close to the tree, as you can see. Kevin is now unhooking the trailer again. We just hooked it all up. He's going to unhook it. We're going to take it off the truck, and then we're going to angle the truck this way, like this, in the hopes that we can pivot her away from that tree. It took us and 5 other people helping us to try and get her in here. But this rock here was a nightmare. We couldn't get over that. There's a tree here, another rock here, stump. So it was just horrific. Oh, the repositioning of the truck did it. We had to put it up on jacks to get it off the block because we were in a big dip and we had to take that post out right there. But we did it. We're out. Kevin did an amazing job, kept his cool, unhooked the truck, rehooked the truck, got eaten by mosquitoes.
We learned a tough lesson here. Just because the side is long and wide enough for the rig doesn't mean the interior roads are wide enough to jackknife the trailer to back in. But we made it and drove the very windy road to Plattsburgh in upstate New York on the shores of Lake Champlain.
Thank you. Oh, wow! Bailey's chomping at the bit. Lake Champlain is 35 miles long along the coastline in some places. It's obviously a very popular place for people with quinkites. This is our campground, which A, is beautiful, and B, Kevin just said, hey Kat, check what time it is. We're about 30 miles from the Canadian border, and it's still light. It's 9 o'clock at night. It's not quite Alaska, but it's pretty nice. Today, we're driving to Montreal. Okay, I know maybe other people are like, okay, so what? But we're from California, and I'm from England, so to be able to say I'm going to drive to Montreal is pretty cool. Never driven across an international border before. We have our passports. As you can see, I am still a British citizen. Kevin has his, and it's just 60 miles that way. I have no idea why I'm so nervous. I'm not bringing any contraband, I've never broken the law, and I have all of my documents correct. Are you nervous? A little anxious?
No.
It's just me then.
So here we are at the Canadian border. What do you think?
What is it about me that just instantly feels guilty when I'm doing anything official? We got in trouble. Kevin got in trouble.
No, I didn't get in trouble. He just asked me if I had any problem with the Canadian government. I said no. When exploring cities, we use the app GPS My City to find all the historic locations. We parked at the Old Clock Tower parking lot by the Montreal Eye.
This here is the Old North Notre Dame Chapel. It is the oldest chapel Still standing in Montreal. It is actually on the site of an older chapel that was built in the late 1600s. This one was built in 1771. On the information about this chapel, it says the interior is simple. I'm not entirely sure I would call this simple.
We began our walking tour of Old Town, and our first stop was supposed to be the Bon Secours Market. We decided to make this our final stop in case we wanted to buy souvenirs. Find out later why this was a bad idea.
This is Old Town Montreal. We're looking for poutine.
We headed into the souvenir shop on the right to ask a local where the best poutine could be found, and we were so glad we did. Poutine All Day is located up this well-worn staircase and was rated the best in Old Town. If you've never had poutine, it's basically fries and gravy with fresh cheese curds, and on a cold, rainy day like today, it was perfect.
We continued on toward the Basilica. Stay tuned as we visited this incredible restaurant later in the day.
Well, here we are at the cathedral in Montreal. I don't know if it's Notre Dame, but it looks like Notre Dame to me. Say something neat. Say something neat.
Approximately 11 million people visit Notre Dame Basilica every year, making it one of the most visited monuments in North America. Thanks, Wikipedia. Here we are once again outside a beautiful building with scaffolding.
This is how the Basilica normally looks. There was also a large ticket booth right in front of the building, so we were unable to capture the entire church. Notre Dame is the first neo-Gothic church in Canada, designed by Irish-American James O'Donnell in 1823. This pulpit is about halfway up into the middle of the church, and the priest would give his sermon from high atop this pulpit, and in that way he was able to be heard throughout the entire congregation without amplification. Nowadays they don't use it anymore because they have amplification.
The interior of this basilica is spectacular. I don't think we've ever seen a more colourful cathedral. There were 2 balconies on either side and also smaller, quiet prayer chapels within this basilica, but it was the vibrant colours of blue, green and red that really thrilled us.
The basilica faces the Place d'Armes Square, which has interesting statues and people playing live music. Next stop on our walking tour was the Bank of Montreal, which was established in 1817.
Quite possibly the most beautiful bank ever. Does it remind anybody else of Gringotts? From Harry Potter. Look at it. This bank has been here since 1817, and the gentleman very kindly allowed us to come in and take some photos. We continued on towards City Hall, but first, coffee.
Guess what? We're in Montreal, and it's still under construction. Boy, it's going to be great when it's finished.
How many places have we been? How many videos have we shared? And we're like, oh, we can't wait to see this building.
All of them.
And it's covered in scaffolding.
Yeah.
This is what we were expecting to see. And this is what it currently looks like.
I did ask if they would take it down for a while so we could get a good picture, and they said no, it takes too much work to take it down just for you to take a picture. Is it the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria?
I don't know, let's find out. It's 3 boats. Oh look, Lord Nelson. On the 21st of October 1806, the British fleet of 27 sailed on the line commanded by the Right Honourable Admiral Lord Viscount Nelson, Duke of Bronte. Attacked off Trafalgar his country has to lament the loss of his greatest naval hero, but not a single ship.
This is the restaurant we passed by earlier. All seating was outdoors on a large patio, and we were taken to a table out of the torrential rain.
However, not everybody is quite so lucky. The people over here that are eating have got an umbrella to stop the rain that is pouring off the top here. You guys have to see this. They have these huge, like, sails, and then they're like flowers, and the water funnels down. Look at this. So this bit part of the building up here, this is just the frontage. There's no actual building behind that, but it is so stunning. I ordered the ever-popular Nutella and strawberries crepe, while Kev had the maple syrup crepe with the maple syrup ice cream.
After some hot coffee, we headed back outdoors. As you know, we'd planned to visit the Bon Secours market, but sadly, it was now closed, and the weather was getting progressively worse.
Well, we don't normally record when it's raining because nobody wants to watch videos with us in the rain, but Montreal got us and we got wet.
I waited out the storm. There's more rain coming, so we're headed to the car and we're going to head back to the United States.
But it was a beautiful time. We didn't have an awful lot of time here in Montreal, but it is a beautiful city to come to the Old Town of Montreal.
Okay.
Oh, it's a little stormy in Montreal. Also, this is the worst weather for cats to drive in. I can't see.
Where that stop sign is, turn right.
Okay.
And then another right after that.
Pull over until the storm stops.
We wish we could have brought you more on Montreal, but sometimes the weather and construction just don't cooperate. We made it back to upstate New York and to the campground.
We hope you enjoyed episode 1 of season 2, Heading West. Join us next week as we visit the Thousand Island region of upstate New York and an island castle with the most tragic love story ever.
Until then, we'll see you on the trail.